Hey, it's Soul, and welcome to Warcraft Weekly, where the copium is as hot as the coffee. Do hit the like button, subscribe for the coverage, and today we're going to kind of quick fire through a lot of the things in 10.1.5 in case you missed them, and I'm going to add a cheap one-liner to each thing, so let's get right to it. For the first time in WoW's history, a whole ass specialization is being added to a class being implemented in a patch. Evokers are getting a third spec called Augmentation. It's a DPS spec where allies rely on you to support them with the group buffs, and you rely on them to pad your meters. In a recent interview, game director Ian Hazekassos was fired midway through. I'm kidding, I'm just making sure you're paying attention. He said that if augmentation works out, that future classes may be given similar toolkit options, but he didn't mention existing classes. It's hard to imagine the WoW team totally changing the foundation of a spec, sorry survival hunters, but I can foresee specs being added to existing classes where it makes sense, and, well, there's a very obvious choice. Druids. I think they're due for something new. Cross-realm trading is going to be a thing after this patch. This lets your cross-realm raid and dungeon group freely trade stuff, just in case someone came in unprepared. It also lets whales move gold around that much faster for extremely legitimate reasons, and it's bound to introduce some chaos. Watch as undercutters jump around realms, buying low and selling high, to a point where prices of items across regions edge closer to the average. There goes server identity, give us cross-realm mythic day one, it's gonna be great. The black market auction house is still relevant and has a higher chance for mounts to appear. Happy hunting! Gear can be upgraded even further. Top-end gear from the vault or mythic raids that didn't have upgrade levels are going to have them added, even to your existing gear. You just plug in a few aspects to raise them on a myth track from item level 441 to 447. Future time walking gear will be upgradable when running time walking at max level. There'll be adventurer class gear and still not good enough for your more sophisticated palette. The DPS stones from the Onyx Anglet are being nerfed to the ground. We're pretty much in a position where most any ring can replace them, and hey, worst case scenario, just put on the healing stones instead because those aren't being nerfed, and then just drop the healer. Fewer tier pieces are going to drop from the current raid. It's something that the team planned for, and with the revival catalyst in play, tier tokens are more likely to be dead items for a raid team, so now with any luck, more hunter weapons will drop. Woohoo! There are lots of questing and outdoor activities coming. We're going to be helping out some baby dragons, we'll be playing time cop and ensuring that some of the most iconic and awkward events in Warcraft history go on undisturbed. We'll be taking glimpses of alternate timelines through time rifts to collect gear and transmog, and to get blasted by the Lich King yet again. These stories will cap out with a new mega dungeon, the Dawn of the Infinite, opening up as Mythic First with a difficulty that's equal to the current Heroic raid, and there's going to be a split Heroic version that's going to come in the upcoming 10.1.7 patch. PoE gear from Legacy raids has an increased chance to drop, so instead of farming Antoras for 4 years, maybe it'll only be 2 years. Siege of Orgrimmar now has a skip. Just click on a flag near the entrance of the raid and it shoots you all the way to the final boss, but you're not skipping the mini boss right before it, the roleplay. If you have extra knowledge points for your profession, you can trade them in for artisan metal. This tells me that later in the expansion, if profession specs go wider or deeper, there's almost no chance that they'll use knowledge points. Meanwhile, duel gatherers with boatloads of metal, they can just sit tight and suffer. Some cool leveling changes are happening. Exile's Reach awards are supposed to be improved by a little bit. There's no more restrictions to access chroming time or allied races. Every race is now accessible as long as you have one character on the account that's above level 40. All writing training is automatically learned from leveling, and it's learned for free. This includes master writing, and this applies to all existing characters. Too bad the Super XP holiday ends after the patch launches though. Characters you haven't used for a long time now have a welcome back button that updates their gear, it clears their quest log, and it takes them to their capital city so they can jump back in and get their ass lost somewhere else for a few years. You can now track at least some transmog appearances just like you can track quests and recipes. Shift clicking on a mog will track it and it'll direct you to the vendor or a dungeon or the raid where it drops. All I'm waiting for is an official random button. But there is a sell junk button. Why did it take like almost 20 years for this? probably because the WoW team knew that they would get so many reports from people accidentally selling their junk that they didn't mean to, and then blame them for it. So now that it works, have fun, ChatGPT customer service bot. The Revival Catalyst is getting its long-awaited upgrade to convert items from previous seasons. There's no cooldown, it costs nothing, and going forward, we should expect this to be an evergreen feature that consistently opens up each season and consistently opens up too late. The Hearthstones for the Garrison and Dalaran are now toys, giving you 2 more bag spaces to store your unwanted Shadowflame crests and Artisan metal. Dragon riding outside of the Dragon Isles is slowly rolling out. It's going to start with a special dragon racing event in Kalimdor that happens in August. And as you make good times, you can buy yourself a snazzy racing outfit. And in some technical prep, the devs messed around with the lighting and distance fog to give the old world that Dragon Isles feel, only that you can now see that the continent as a whole need an update. There's tons of cosmetic things being added, and it's not just coming from the things from new activities. Warlocks are being given the every race treatment, and now you can write your own awkward story of how your Lightforged Draenei came to be. Fell, yeah. There are new customization options for Warlock pets too that you can unlock in the barbershop after completing the quest. Worgen are getting additional fur options thanks to crossbreeding. Maghor orcs have a new eye color added, I guess for the same reason, and the eyes on characters now have a dynamic lighting effect, which has nothing to do with anything. Legacy recipes are being added for pretty much all the crafting professions to unlock old transmog, and somewhere, maybe in Skullman's, is a path towards crafting or obtaining tier 3 appearances from the before times, and gamers don't care. Just kidding, the gamers definitely care. The recipes added in this patch can also be ordered and fulfilled using crafting orders, ensuring you'll be plenty busy ignoring hundreds upon hundreds of scammers. And finally, of course, there are numerous class changes. There are too many class changes, but basically your class is getting gutted and the class that you hate is getting buffed, even if it doesn't look like it. That takes care of the recap, and hopefully there was a little something to learn in there. Little reminder, BlizzCon tickets will be on sale for those who are interested in joining in the festivities, and along with the patch next week, there will be drops. You can get a fun little picnic basket by watching me, or I guess other WoW streamers, for a total of 4 hours starting July 11th at 10 AM Pacific, and this goes on for a week. Odds are good that Realms won't be up when the promo begins, but I'm gonna be on anyway. I'll be here to help run the clock for some free goodies. I know I bring this topic up pretty often, which I know doesn't help, but it sure feels like time is passing kind of oddly during this whole Dragonflight regime. A lot of patches, a lot of small incremental things are being added, and with that come a lot of milestones that sort of mess with the psyche. I'm sure it's got a lot to do with me. This is a personal thing. I mean, I commentate, I live in the day-to-day conversations, so it feels awfully familiar when I want to pose this question to you folks at home. Are we moving kind of fast or too slow? Now, doing my best to be objective, I think no, because the big beats like the story and going through raids and, waiting for the Revival Catalyst and for Crossworld Mythic to open, OMG, it's taking too long, stuff like that hasn't changed. I firmly believe that WoW's next expansion is going to be announced at BlizzCon, which makes time feel like it's going too fast. Of course, I got an open mind too. Maybe it'll be announced in the spring to basically mirror Dragonflight's announcement and launch. That would probably put minds at ease. No doubt some feel like time is going a little bit slow too, like, God, is this tier over yet? It's already been like, 5, 6, 2 months? And let's not forget those who are standing on the other side of the fence waiting for the filler expansion to be over so we can get right to the real story. I don't know what that is, but I want to hear from all of you, how you're feeling as we dive into this second chapter of Season 2. And to also consider this final thought. A good chunk of folks didn't feel jazzed over 10.1 for numerous reasons, including just not having a whole lot to do. The question is, should there have not been a 10.1.5, and instead should they have just kind of made 10.0 longer and just cram all of this into 10.1, and maybe time gate some of this content a little bit. So that's the show, and I'm grateful for you folks joining me. I know it's been quite a bit since I've done a recap, especially since I've been pumping out all sorts of different streams and videos for the past month or so. So I really appreciate the support that you keep giving. So I'm gonna give thanks to you, viewer, first for making it to the end. Yay. Of course, a big thanks to our lovely Twitch family. You guys have been great. To our valued patrons, thank you so much for your support. And that's gonna be a wrap for me. I wish you well, and I will see you next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.